chance to leave, but they threw it away. It's time to show them we won't know.
All right, everybody, what's going on? I am the one, the only, the W-O-O-K-I-E. Thank you for everyone joining us in the chat. Welcome to the New Arcana podcast.
I'm in the wrong spot.
Sorry, the Keyforge. We're prepping for what happens next, but we got everybody, at least from last week. We got Big Z. What's up, Z?
Hey, how's it going?
And of course, the Ewokiest of Ewoks, Ewok Jr.
Hello, Keyforge community. Glad to be here.
He's been dying all week to say that.
I have, and I have people who recognize that and even say it when we're playing games. It's great.
Do people sit down across from you and go, "Hello, Keyforge community"?
Yeah, even when we start off on DMs, it's great.
Really?
Wait,
Yep.
when you just said playing games, what game are you playing?
Well, I did have I did have my ABR match this week, and other games, but there have been some people on TCO that have recognized it.
Oh, nice. Right on. Got a little bit. We said we're going to go over some rules today. We are going to go over some rules today. But first, we want to talk about Gamma. What does Gamma stand for anyway? Something. Gaming. Nobody knows.
I thought it was Game and Manufacturers Association, but I need to check that one.
It's definitely not the General Aviation Manufacturers Association.
Yeah, Game Manufacturers Association is what immediately popped up.
Yeah. But Gamma, big convention. I don't know where it is. Basically, that's where a lot of your game stores go to, right? To see the new product, see what's coming out.
Yeah, they were in Reno. They were in Reno, Nevada, Wookie. This year.
Is it always in Reno or does it float?
I don't know. It's so a little blurb that immediately pops up. Game Manufacturers Association is a nonprofit trade association based in Columbus, Ohio. But it says for this year, you can see the dates, and that's Reno.
Okay.
And I have heard that from multiple other sources this week too.
I've never been to Gamma. I know people that have gone to Gamma, but I don't know much about it. If you remember when Keyforge first started, they were handing out the Gamma decks, which all sucked. Every last one of them were horrible. So, maybe not every. I've never seen a good Gamma deck, but
he does not know this. This is not fact checked.
This is not fact checked at all. But
No.
I've never sat across the table from a Gamma deck.
They didn't print that many of them, so odds are they do all suck. But we do not know this for certain.
But kind of the big thing is, and I don't know if this is controversial or not, but Mark H posted a photo into our Discord today, showing out that they're giving out Unchained and Winds of Exchange decks. You guys, are you guys upset about this? I know
Why
a few
would that
people
be controversial?
Well, there's that.
Who the heck would want Winds of Exchange decks right now?
I don't know. Like, I heard about this GameFound thing that they launched, and oh man, it was kind of like a little bit of a nightmare, and there was a huge setback. Well, it wasn't a setback, but they were right on time, right? And now people who have put money
last
towards,
I heard, they are 100% on time.
Yeah, and now people who have put money to get these, Unchained and Winds of Exchange decks aren't getting them, and they're getting handed out to people who didn't put money towards. I don't know, but I know some people are upset.
Yeah, I know some people are upset because you have decks that were passed out before people from GameFound got it. But to be honest, Gamma is set up for individuals in the gaming industry. So these are store owners. These are people who are game store employees. And frankly, that's who we have to get this in the hands of right now. We need to make sure that they're aware, hey, this game is not dead. They're decks. We have a new set coming out. Here's what you can look for. Here's our new company. So this does not bother me at all. I mean, again, we have news that it is coming to us by the end of May. And with May 1st being on Monday from this recording, this news to me, timing, I want to see that they are getting it out to any game store employees, because frankly, the longer that we sit here with it just in our hands as GameFound people or individuals who went to KFC, Keyforge Celebration, less individuals in game stores know about it, and it's longer for OP. So right now, yes, I want my decks, but as Sheep has said, you can give me all the decks. If I don't have anywhere to play them, it means nothing. So
what's OP?
That's why we're talking.
Oh,
So
okay.
OP, those are letters that are they're 4-letter words right now.
LMNOP.
It's not a real 4-letter word, but it is something that is sour for a number of individuals. And so I think this is a great move that they're reaching out to gaming individuals, store owners, store employees, and saying, here, try this out, check it out. To be honest, it was not even on the radar for all of my my listening ears.
I don't
There's
think it
quite
was
a bit
on
of
the
us
radar
that's-
for a lot of people, unfortunately. The talk of the town right now is
the mouse.
the mouse, the House of Mouse.
It's Lorcana.
It's Din Djarin. Can I get a Grogu card in the first set? That's what I want to know.
No.
No? Do they say no straight up? No Star Wars?
No, I mean, it has nothing's been released in that manner yet. But
Right.
but what we need is, because people are like, hey, Lorcana is very, very similar to Keyforge with this race. We could take advantage of that and be able to connect. And I think there's just a lot of excitement. New game that's coming out. You have Ravensburger, which is a pretty, very, very solid, well-established game company. But people are not comparing it to Keyforge. Keyforge is not even an afterthought of an afterthought. So anytime I'm fine seeing the Unchained decks and our WoE decks or Winds of Exchange decks, and hopefully it sparks a few more people, and hopefully we can hear something new soon in regards to OP so that we can play those amazing decks.
And we'll probably, I don't want to say next week we'll be talking about it, but Lorcana has a pretty interesting OP system that we're going to talk about at a future date. Because right now, I mean, I guess we're kind of behind, but does it really matter when news is so slow? We did get new rules. Two of the biggest new rules I think all of us wanted to talk about last week, but didn't get the opportunity to talk about it, was the new discard mechanic and the scrap keyword from Grim Reminders. So I'm not really sure where to go with it. Obviously, the discard mechanic, there's going to be a new pip on your cards. It's going to be a purple minus card. So instead of drawing, you will be discarding a card. And then the scrap mechanics, I'm a little confused on the scrap mechanic, but probably we'll find out more once Grim Reminders comes out, because the scrap mechanic is basically allowing you to use said card that you discard, which I guess is probably going to be a way of
figure it out. We got to walk bot here.
Yeah.
Walkbot. What does scrap say?
Well, I'm going to first go back. For your discard bonus icon, that means that you're going to see pips similar to carrying through. This is popping up with kind of that purple, it looks like honestly a purple icon, like a card, but it has a little arrow. So
that's
iconography,
a subtraction signal.
Yeah, but I mean the iconography is easy enough to understand. So I like this. I like it's built in. There's some hypothesizing going on that, you could see it for our next set for Grim Reminders. There's also some hypothesis that maybe it shows up in some anomalies because we see cards early. And there's even some other individuals who are going ahead and putting forward that you could see it in our newest Keyforge adventure. So all three are definitely
Chota Hattery's what is it? Chota Hazard's
Chota Hazard's Great Keyscape.
Great Keyscape. That's what it is.
This
coming
Christmas.
This Christmas.
I'm sorry. This winter holiday season.
Yes.
Is coming.
And sign up for the Game Phone.
So, joking aside, all three are options to be able to see this new mechanic implemented and used, and I like it. I like the simple aspect. I like seeing a new icon, and I'm excited to be able to see what it offers for play. And then your other one you're talking about is scrap. So scrap has a little bit more, and it says after a card with a scrap ability is discarded from a player's hand, the active player resolve the card's scrap ability. Scrap abilities can resolve in the discard pile. So that's an interesting little component there. If multiple cards with scrap abilities are discarded simultaneously, they are resolved one at a time in the order of the active player's choosing. If an ability discards a card from a zone other than a player's hand, any scrap abilities on the card do not resolve. So it basically needs to be coming from hand. What do you guys think about this?
I think the combination of the two was super fun because, like, you could obviously get for say like a discard icon on some cards, and perhaps 2 on one card, and then you can play it, resolve the 2 discard icons onto 2 off-house cards that have scrap abilities, and then like you get your full effect of the card you just played. You discard 2 offhand to increase your efficiency, and then you get the scrap effect from them too. So that's a very unique unseen play space, like a new, like they basically with these 2 combined new mechanics, they're making up a whole new design space that the game never had before. Because we've all seen like discard off house, we've seen discard archive. There's been we've seen discard steal from the EE. I think this is a very new way to approach like the discarding effects, which is net gain as far as like efficiency for Keyforge, plus a bonus.
And I will say, Roger Schreiber had posted a number of cards here that already will interact with this. So Toxin, Mind Barb, Mind Fire, PE or Punctuated Equilibrium, Double Doom, Dendrix, Avinda, Subtle Auto, Subtle Chain, Subtle Maul, and then Sink or Swim. Frankly, only PE is what is going to go ahead and hit all of your cards in hand at once. And so I like that it's filling a new space. Honestly, I hadn't seen it. It fits in really well, but I'm not worried about other cards having a major impact on this new ability. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Punk was the big one that first came to mind for me. Because if I punk and I got a, I don't want to say a mitt full of scrap because I don't know how plethral the punks that plethral, I don't know how much they're gonna have scrap in the set.
Prevalent?
Right?
How prevalent they'll be?
Let's go with prevalent.
I don't want to say prevalent, but whatever.
Okay.
Do you want the word how often?
How often? I do. I love that word.
That's prevalent.
Prevalent. Whatever. Either way. Long story short, right? How much is scrap going to be in the set? That is a big, because punk is a thing that some top end decks have. I am going to be able to now trigger cards from my hand on my opponent's turn, which I think is big.
No, not exactly.
No, yeah. No? I'm gonna reread this again. If an ability discards a card from a zone other than the player's hand, any scrap abilities on the card do not resolve. Okay, so that doesn't change anything. But look here, if multiple cards with scrap abilities are discarded simultaneously, they resolve one at a time in the order of the active players choosing.
Correct.
So again, that would be the person who played punk, which means that you don't have
active
the control.
players making all decisions with those cards.
Oh, is it a may resolve?
They are
after a card with scrap ability is discarded from a player's hand. The active player resolves the card's scrap ability.
Yep.
Scrap abilities can be resolved from the discard pile. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have let's just say let's make this easy. You have made me You made me discard a card from my hand at random, right?
Yeah.
It has the scrap ability on it. I get to choose it.
Right, you get to choose it, but like it's not just it still fires. It's not just it doesn't just fizzle.
Yeah. We also don't know what the scrap abilities are.
True.
It could be like gain an amber, capture an amber onto a creature. Like all of these are easy choices that you can make for your opponent, right? Like you choose which of the creatures your amber has to go on, right? Like that's what we're. I don't think
it could also
be
say
a mistake to make
destroy all creatures on board.
Yeah, that would be.
I mean, it could.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like we don't know. It's very unknown. I mean, that scrap could become very powerful. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that Grim Reminders, for the most part, was designed by FFG. And that FFG has a hard time balancing things sometimes. I mean,
are you saying that they added this new key term because they wanted to scrap the game?
No, I'm saying that they sometimes like
too soon. Okay.
Too soon.
I'm gonna back myself.
Sometimes pips, like we thought we knew pips was gonna be huge, but there was a lot of other people, Ewok, that didn't think pips were gonna play a big part in the game. But,
I'm raising my hand. I was completely wrong.
But you weren't alone, was my thing. No, you weren't alone in that.
I wasn't alone, but I will say I really don't like the vanilla creatures in MM, they do bring a lot of additional value though with those pips. So
Right.
I was wrong. There you go.
But scrap could be like super powerful, like scrap gain 3 ember. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know, and this is just me spitballing.
We just have to wait and see.
But I mean, I am still resolving cards from my hand on your turn. Which, I mean, even if it is gain an ember, so I go from 5 to 6, so I go from not forging a key to forging a key. It could play a big role. I'm just saying. I
think it's a little early to know what is happening. There's just going to be a new ability.
You don't like theory crafting at all, do you?
We theory craft a lot because there's much else to do here, but we theory craft a lot.
I love talking shit. That's the best.
I just don't know if it's going to be as big of a deal as you think it is.
It might be nothing.
Triggers that on your side already, because there are creatures with destroyed
they're destroyed effects.
I mean, yeah, like that's already a thing. As long as they're intelligently designing, because like they have full reins on what they decide to do, no matter how much FFG did. Like
this is true. They could redo everything if they wanted to. I'm just saying this could throw some crazy wackiness into the game that could be quite exciting.
Oh, I mean, I'm all for the wackiness. I think things would be more exciting that way, but I also don't think they're going to go and do some like really like. I think something that would be bad on a scrap card would be like an inspiration type effect, like ready and use a creature. Like that would be super stupid, right? Like because then if your opponent discards it, they would then have to choose a creature on the other side of the board to ready and use. Like that gets to the point where there's going to be a lot of overlapping like rules entanglements that are going to happen because of that. And that would be a really bad idea, right? So as long as they stay away from like that level of complexity on scrap, I think we're fine. Like I expect to see I expect to see like your most basic types of like card interactions on scrap and nothing more, because like they don't want it to be better than playing the card, right?
Scrap, destroy an artifact. There goes your auto encoder. I don't know. I'm having fun with it.
Yeah, but like if your opponent did that to you, they would get to pick. Then they would choose your artifact.
Good question.
Like that's what we're talking about. Like that's.
Well, it's my card, so I don't think if it
you don't
says
get to make decisions on their turn. So like
this is true. I don't get to make a decision on their turn, but I'm assuming auto encoder is the only.
Yes, in the case it's the only artifact, but that could be the only artifact on either side.
True. I don't know. So, like I said, just spitballing, having some fun with it. I like the level of wackiness it could put into it, and we'll see if it actually does or not. So,
but like to hammer that home, like I think destroying the artifact would actually be a fine scrap effect. I don't think they're gonna get that complicated, to be honest, but I still think that's fine. Like that is a very quick, maneuverable decision. You just pick one, it's gone. Doesn't matter. Sometimes it's going to be bad for the person who had the scrap card. Sometimes it'll be good for them, depending on who has artifacts in play or what they are.
I mean, because clearly it's designed to do some house cheating, right? You're going to play a card that has a discard icon, and you're going to discard it from your hand. That's an off house, hopefully, that allows you to do a thing, right?
Yes. But that sounds like the goal. Yeah.
That the wackiness can pursue because punk is a real thing and it is very prevalent. I don't
maybe
really know
also see some creatures that have like reap, discard a card like we used to, like all the bots.
Yeah,
right?
The bots.
Yeah, like all of those. Like that would be very much in line with scrap. Like we don't know what we're gonna see. So like that would all be very cool as long as they don't get like really stupid with the scrap effects to create odd interactions when your opponent.
I hope
very
they
rare.
go. I hope
very rare.
I hope,
but occasionally they
do
discard stuff.
I really hope we're stupid. You know me. The crazier the better.
I do.
The crazier the better. But also new rules. We're gonna go through. Do you want to go through versatility and treachery first? Because those are kind of our new keywords.
Let's use them.
So Walkbot.
All right, let's start. You want versatile? So versatile, if a card has the versatile keyword, it can be used as if it belonged to the active house.
Which we've seen this before. There are lots of that say this, this creature belongs to any house.
So this is just to save text, right? Because
Right.
there's like this is what Mantle from set 1 does.
Yep.
Mac the Knife from set 1.
Well, but
So
they had
this
it.
is just
They had it.
keyword for that.
It saves. Yes, it saves text. It also allows because some of those, if I'm correct, Mac has Omni ability.
Mhm.
Now I got to go check.
I believe.
But
it does.
but that limits, I guess, what it can do. So having
No,
versatile.
Mac has an action.
No, Max just has an action
An
ability. yeah.
action. Okay.
Because
But he
he
belongs
is
to any
because he
house.
is a versatile creature, basically.
Correct. But I'm saying you could, like with versatile now here, if it had replaced the term or the information for Mac, it would allow you to reap instead of just choosing his action. So it brings a little bit more.
Can reap with
Mac,
Mac.
yeah, I would say Mac can reap if he chooses.
guess
to.
Mac is exactly the wording you just read.
He is versatile.
It is just now they have a keyword
They have
to
it
do
as
that
keyword.
instead of writing it all out.
And then treachery is.
Okay, so
Wow.
treachery. When a card has the treachery keyword, it enters play under the control of your opponents. So related topics, control and ownership enters play. So
We've
So
seen
it's a
this
keyword for Scowly and the
Yep.
new one in WoW. The one that you play a creature from their hand, they get the card you're playing. I don't know its name. It's a Equidon.
too. The one is that the one action? No.
No, it's a creature. It's a 2-power creature.
Yeah.
You get
he's
an
Equidon.
amber. They get the creature. You look at their hand. You play a creature from their hand. You control it.
Yes. I can't
I
remember
know
what he's
what
called.
it does. I do not know. It's an Equidon creature, so it's probably a stupid name. So
We've talked with him. We've talked about him before.
yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, we like him. I thought
And he also is versatile, or he would be. If
was
the
there
keyword
not
existed.
also a. Maybe I'm wrong on this. I thought they made a keyword for enters play ready too.
They don't have a keyword for
No,
that.
they
that
didn't
I
make a
know of.
keyword for that.
No,
I thought they had
no.
made a keyword.
We
for
we
that,
don't
too.
have what is it, Rage or whatever yet.
you weren't talking about Talent Scout and Equidon.
Talent Scout
Yes,
was
that's
who
it.
we were talking about. Yes.
Okay, so
Yep,
Talent Scout, 2-power get Rukian creature with an Amber Pip. Talent Scout may be used as if it belonged to the active house. So that's what you're talking about as versatile. Look at your opponent's hand and play a creature from it as if it were yours. Your opponent takes control of Talent Scout.
Yep. Yeah.
Kinda
So they
bounces
get
back
a
and forth
versatile
versus-
creature.
Yeah.
You get an amber and get to steal one of their creatures. So overall, pretty good card. But yeah, that is in the future. We won't see all that text. We'll see versatile,
Yep.
Right.
which I guess they
But I wonder if you'll see
must
that
have.
text.
They must have recently done that though, because or else we would have seen it in the WoW card Talent Scout. So I guess this is something more to that'd be something to be on the lookout for Grim Reminders, just to see if we see more versatile creatures.
Yeah, I think it clears it up for terminology because all those keywords are something that you can look at in the back of the rule book. So instead of it just being on a card trying to figure it out, I like that it's clearing it up. And I pulled up Mac the Knife because apparently my brain is not working. Shadows, 3-power, elf thief creature with elusive. You may use Mac the Knife as if it belonged to the active house, which would be your versatile action. Deal 1 to a creature. If this damage destroys that creature, gain 1.
Yeah, he's a Seeker
So-
Needle.
Yes.
But
because it says you may use it as if it belonged, you can have the action or the reap or the fight. Yep.
But my question was, are we going to see more creatures like this now that they've stamped it with a keyword, which Z had already brought up? Because, I mean, I would like more enter play ready creatures. That'd be great. I don't know what that'd do for the game, but
You're saying
awesome.
enters
I
play
don't like
ready?
care as much as about the creatures, but I was thinking about this the other day, because I was talking about someone about the overall utility of artifacts as far as which ones are good, which ones are bad, and a lot of it's because they come in exhausted. I think I would have loved it so much more had just all artifacts come in ready.
And you're able to use them
like
the same
how-
turn.
Yeah, like there would have been a lot easier like valuation of them because like a lot of these artifacts just don't do anything if you get them in the bottom of the cycle. And some of them are like theoretically really good ones that just don't
Mhm.
do anything later. Like I think that is something I would have loved to have seen.
JM says
So
artifacts
and,
come in ready in Lorcana.
shut up, God dang it. Well, look at that. I guess I'm going to look. No, I'm not. I'm not.
I mean, back in the day, that would have been horrible. Could you imagine LA loops if you could also then play your Nepseed and then use your
You
Nepseed?
still that's not the same turn because you're not playing LA on your untamed turn.
Well, but hold on. You forgot you could phase shift to play a Nepseed and then it came in ready and then you could pop it right away.
That's still a pretty big loss of value overall, though. Because then you're
Yeah.
phase shifting, which is your draw power. Like
So I'm phase
times
shifting, drawing a card,
Yeah.
pop, I guess, but still, it was a
yeah.
possibility.
Like overall, though, like I think there like that is an area which I like. We started to see one in the in WoW. There's I think it's the MK2 generator or whatever. It's an artifact that just comes in ready. Like
Yep.
like if they just had more of those in general moving forward, like I think that whole design space of artifacts being a little bit better than they are would be good. Like the stuff like Library of Babel. Card sucks, but if it came in ready, it would suck a little bit less because at
Yeah.
least it replaced itself in the draw at that moment in time. Like there's a lot of artifacts like that too. Like even like nothing's gonna redeem Soul Fiddle, but it would be a little less hella bad if it had come in ready or like
You're
the
gonna
Wretched
use
Doll.
Soul Fill. No, both of those are horrible. They should not exist.
And they are,
They're just
but
really
they still
bad.
like even the Wretched Doll, almost as bad as Soul Fiddle. Like all of these drastically get better in value if they just come in ready, because just the number of turns you play a house, like on average, you play a house 3 to 5 times a game.
Yep.
So like, if you're not getting the use out of it the turn you play it, like the odds that you see it if it's late in cycle actually get used is very very small.
Yeah, and for those who are curious, MK2 generator, Mars token, Mars artifact that is an item in WoW, and it says MK2 generator enters play ready, action, make a token creature. So no, I agree with you. I like that aspect. What about the Scully Caper aspect? Do you guys like seeing Scully Caper, which I can go ahead and read? 2 power, elf thief, creature in shadows. I don't really care about the skirmish. It is interesting here, but Scully Caper enters play under your opponent's control and can be used if it belongs to any house. At the end of your turn, destroy one of Scully Caper's neighbors. I'm more looking at that destroying neighbors. Do you guys like that or no?
I thought it was a fun card. I did help me in some sealed play a long time ago. Overall, I mean, I think it's a fine card. The only issue I have with cards like that is like they get shuffled into your opponent's deck at the end of the game. Happens all the time.
Yes, they do.
Happens with the quadricorders. Like that's. I love quadricorder. I love Skelly Caper. Like I like all those cards, but like my only knock on them is a very like meta knock, as in like in reality, that's how you lose cards. Like it's not that you actually like fumbled them out of your case or whatever. It is
and true
your opponent
story.
walked away with it.
True story. If you borrow a deck and you attach that quadricorder or an upgrade on your opponent who has sleeves that are identical to you, it becomes very, very difficult. And here's your lesson of the day, boys and girls. Count your number of cards when you're done.
Yep, every time I do. Yep.
Because they can disappear pretty quickly. And then people have heart attacks when you go to return that deck and it doesn't have the right amount of cards.
Especially if it's like, 500.
I'm just throwing out there. I don't know where that would have come from, but it's a lesson learned. I think I saw it at, a Vault or KFC or
some kind of celebration.
yeah, I mean, I'm just saying.
It happens. Don't get snuck lifted. There was signs made about it. Just, count your stuff. Get your cards back. All right, what do we got next? Okay, new band and restricted list. Again, I don't think there was any real surprises here. Cards that were not on this list before. Control the
I
Weak. Wasn't that
was
on the
surprised
list?
about an omission to it, not in like any of the
Well,
ads.
Okay, because I think I have an omission too, so I want to hear this. But
well,
go
okay.
ahead.
So cards
I-
added: Control the
Control the
Weak,
Weak was
Scrambler
not
Storm,
there.
Scrambler Storm, and Stealth Mode.
Yeah,
Boom,
so
there you
stealth
go.
mode, scrambler storm, and control the weak were all added.
I
but
also
they
have an omission that I was like, surprised not to see that there.
and lateral shift was removed. Honestly, I wasn't seeing lateral shift as a major issue. I wasn't seeing a ton of play that KFC.
All
that I had seen, but-
anomalies are so dang rare. I don't think
Yeah.
they needed to be on here. But
Right, I
for
agree.
whatever reason, Ghost Form is there. I still don't understand why it's there. I could care
That
less
double
about
Ghost
that
Form
card
deck.
competitively ever. Like,
Well, people were worried about
Yeah.
it with Edai. Candidly, I don't know.
You could still have Eddie in Ghost Form because you could have Ghost Form in 5 Eddies. Like, that's still okay.
Yeah, I don't
So
know.
like I don't like if I looked at the list and if I was like, okay, restricted like things only matter in conjunction with other restricted things, so that's the system they made.
Yes.
Like, are you looking for Ghost Form Morpheus?
No.
Because that's the only thing I see in here. Like, oh no, you don't have Ghost Form with your stealth modes? Surely that wasn't it. Ghost Form United Action, because those are the other Worlds Collide cards we're talking about. Ghost Form being on this list doesn't do anything. It
Yep.
doesn't mean anything. It's
Yeah. And
might as
all
well not be there.
I will say, I mean, I understand what the restricted list is set up for. I think that it is confusing to people who are not consistently playing because, like, Stealth Mode, Scrambler Storm, and Control the Weak, you can have them in your deck, and I can have as many Control the Weak as I want, but I can't have anything else. Again, this makes sense to
Right.
me, but when people see any of these, it is confusing to some newer players. So I think that we want to be a little bit clear. Wookie, what did you think was missing from this list?
I want to hear yours first.
I think
'Cause I think
that-
we're all on the same page, and I think that's
I
gonna be
think
funny.
seeing stealth mode, scrambler storm, control the weak, like that actually was part of the limit for margin generosity and key abduction. We have MG on there, but
Mhm.
frankly,
No Battlefleet.
well, but that's the whole point. Battlefleet, key abduction,
Battlefleet
like
didn't matter if these are here because if you're
Correct.
limiting like the ability to stop stuff like Battlefleet, then Battlefleet becomes less of a big deal. What I see now, like so, there are 2 decks that did really well at KFC. They came in 3rd and 4th, I think.
Yep.
Both had double MG and key abduction.
Yep.
And the primary way they were stopped was like other control, like Control the Weak and Scrambler Storm in this case. Those are now restricted. So that means like those 2 decks just increased in alliance value like
Yes.
twofold, like by a lot. So my omission that I was surprised at is that we didn't see MG limit to 1.
That I agree with, but I also I'm really torn on MG and key abduction by putting them both on the list. The problem is key abduction by itself doesn't do anything. Like it's not the
Yeah.
issue, but the combination of both of them, there's nothing to really stop them outside of what was now added to the list: stealth mode, scrambler storm, and control the weak. Like
Yeah. Like those
Ye-
are the stops, right?
correct.
Yeah.
And so I can be winning. I can have 2 keys and 7 amber. You have no way to stop. And you just go ahead and can go off with MG into key abduction. Like, GG, you won. And that's, I feel like they're trying to add to this list so that the games become more interesting, more fun. And I feel that this goes against that. I really do. I don't find it fun to go ahead and lose to, hey, great job. You went ahead and were able to key abduct me and pull multiple keys. Maybe I'm
No, you're fine. I was actually a little surprised at that too, that MG wasn't limited to 1, but Battlefleet not even being on the list kind of surprised me because Battlefleet's very similar. I know it takes a little more setup, but I mean
There's still way less pods that have the correct
that have
number
the
of
Battlefleet.
Battlefleets that
You're
would
correct.
do that.
I mean, but it doesn't seem like they're taking. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't seem like they're taking pods into consideration here.
That's true. Like
I mean, it
again,
just
like
seems
I
like
don't
they're
know
just
how Ghost
picking
Form got
cards,
on
so-
here. I don't think Ghost Form is actually doing anything. Just like I don't think Science Morpheus is
I mean,
doing anything here.
if Ghost Form's on here, why take off lateral shift? I don't have an answer for you on it. So
I don't think those two things being on this list affect.
Just leave lateral shift. I mean, again, I don't know how many decks exist with multiple Ghost Forms or multiple lateral shifts. I can't imagine it's many, and I can't imagine it matters too much. But
no, even to find how many decks have 2 anomalies in them, then you'd have to have 2 anomalies that are good.
Pretty rare,
and they'd have
right?
to be there. It is. Well,
let's find out.
Lateral
shift. All right, lateral shift, and we'll go 2+, and we'll just find out how many decks exist. 1. So, at least on decks of Keyforge, there's 1 deck that contains 2 lateral shifts.
The peanut gallery that is JM is commenting that he saw somewhere people saying the restricted list is punishing Coda, which is true now, which is the set that lapsed players have the most decks from. I mean, that's just true, period, right? Like, Coda sold more decks than every other set by a lot. I'm not going to go through the numbers. I'm sure JM actually has the numbers, but like, it is not even close when you talk about number of sales from Coda to any other set. And that is the set that is the punished the most in Alliance. I'm not sure if that was intentional. I don't know what all went in the process of finding the Alliance restricted list.
Because now
all I know is that a good chunk of the list doesn't mean anything.
Well,
and a good chunk of the list does mean Coda is weaker than it ever was.
Yeah. And going ahead and looking at, if you type into just DOK, both lateral shift and Ghost Form in the same deck, you have 6. Of those 6, there are only 2 of those decks that have both lateral shift and Ghost Form in the same pod to be able to take. And both of those decks are not great. We have a 65 SAS here, which is, guess what? Worlds Collide Brobnar. And the other one falls in Untamed, but it's a 48 SAS deck.
Yeah, I just looked up double Ghost Form. There are 5 decks that contain double Ghost Form.
But that's still not what you do. Like, it only matters in conjunction with the other cards on the restricted list.
Correct.
Like, you'd be looking for Ghost Form plus Morpheus, or Ghost Form plus Stealth Mode, or Ghost Form plus
too small.
United Action. And like, none of the things I just named are win cons that I am even remotely aware of being a thing that I would care about to tech against Alliance. Hence, I don't know where any of these 4 things came from, other than Stealth Mode. Stealth Mode makes sense, but then again, based on what I just said, I could argue Stealth Mode being on here doesn't do anything, because there's not another card from the Worlds Collide competitive pool that I am getting penalized by not playing. Like, if I saw Stealth Mode plus Infernus, then you've affected a lot of potential decks in Worlds Collide. Stealth Mode plus Eddie, you've affected something. Stealth Mode plus any of these cards doesn't matter at all. Right? Like, that's how this list works.
Yes, because it's within set.
So if you look at the only set that was truly affected,
that's where
you've got Control the Weak, Library Access, Restringuntus, and Scrambler Storm, and Time Traveler. That is 5 cards that actually matter out of however many's on this list, all in the same set 1.
Maybe it's because I don't truly care about Alliance. I mean, I'm not highly invested in there. I think that it's fun to be able to theory craft and then put together some decks. I don't know what we're really looking at for bettering the gameplay.
I mean, right now, what is Alliance is where it usually is at Martian Generosity shenanigans, right? I mean, that's still where it's at most of the time.
So my issue with Martian Generosity Key Abduction or Battlefleet Key Abduction is that you need to time it just right for your stealth modes, for your Scrambler Storms, for your Control the Weak to be able to hit. It's not even like, here's an artifact that just says you can't go ahead and play. You can't play your actions.
But you can't have those in the same deck anymore. So
I understand, but I'm saying if I had any of those, like that's the problem. If I am playing, I can play stealth mode, but if it's not on the right turn, when you're set to go ahead and go off with your Martian Generosity key abduction, if that's not for the final key, it's not the end of the world. I just played on the next turn.
Right.
And yes, I can go ahead and keep cycling, but I don't know. I didn't see that as where the restricted list is set up and what it's trying to do.
I mean, right now the entire restricted list is set up to tell people to not play Coda. Like that's what it is.
I guess the biggest question is the restricted list is set up to make what, not broken decks? That's the whole idea, right?
I mean, I think it is designed to move away from negative play experiences, right?
Like I don't think it does that. I think we're still stuck in the same area we were before.
The Morpheus, Restringuntus, those came together,
right? They did
because there was, but like actually, like that had to be because of a specific pod, because like people were talking about it immediately when they heard about Alliance, because like there's a X amount of Restringuntus decks, and there's plenty of decks that have double Morpheus, so like you can lock them out of the game automatic, like it's just gonna happen. So that's how that came, and I understand that. But after that, like a lot of this stuff is, I don't know how it came to be. I just don't have an answer. I just don't know enough about
LA
Keyforge
is already
to deduce an answer.
Dark Number Vault, okay, I guess I get. Didn't see a lot of that at KFC. Ghost Form, don't understand. Library access was neutered enough. I don't know if they had found a way to bust. I mean, LA United Action.
I mean, LA originally being on there is one I agreed with, because like it is breakable in Alliance, because like you can just find ways to make it break, even with it not being repeatable.
It's LA United, right?
Yeah, that's you need it. You need it coming in as a legacy card. I have an LA United Action deck that's in. I have a pod that's there in DT, and I can pull it off very, 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 very consistently. I'm saying that out of 10 games, I'm pulling it off easily 9 games. Not a problem at all. And when it goes, there's nothing to stop me. I just keep playing and playing and playing and playing. And it does have the key cheat with Key Frog that's there as ways to be able to get rid of it. It's not a fun experience. So if that's what they're going for, I am all for it. As I'm looking at this, did Library Card also get removed? No, it's not on here. But was that on the initial? It was never on there?
I don't believe so.
Okay. I was trying to go through it.
Library Card's too slow.
No, I agree. I just, for me, looking at this restricted list, I need to be able to see MG, Key Abduction, or like the combination. I don't know how with the restricted list set up that we're listing it as Battlefleet Key Abduction or Martian Generosity Key Abduction. But when we have multiples in a deck, I don't know. It just isn't fun to play against. If you look, the other thing that I saw show up was autoencoder. Autoencoder with MM and your pips is another way to be able to go ahead and be able to cycle through and have your responses.
Again, it's like understanding the list though. Like putting autoencoder on here doesn't do anything.
No, it doesn't, and that's the problem.
It would do nothing. Yeah.
That is the exact problem. So
yeah, I mean, what do you pair autoencoder with? Autoencoder and pips. Not allowed to have pips in your deck.
No.
Well, even that, like you're discarding cards to get the value. Like it doesn't matter. Like there is nothing to pair. Like I don't even know what you would put on this list that would actually like measurably affect MM. They put the DAV there because yes, you could actually create decks with 3 DAVs, and yeah, that's a problem.
That's crazy.
Thing. So yeah, DAV had to be there. So they did it. That's the one thing I knew of they could do for MM. It's there. Great. Like, I mean, about the only thing that would like affect MM to like a larger degree would be to put like, I don't know, a certain number of Invernuses on here, which would affect Worlds Collide 2. Like, that would be about it, I guess.
All you're allowed to play is Worlds Collide Brabner.
But it could be
76-hour games. Yeah.
Three house.
You can have one house in your deck as long as it's Worlds Collide Brabner. It's just the longest game you've ever played. I guess not. I guess it's just who has more creatures and who's reaping
You would
faster.
still just lose.
I mean,
lose.
I will say Sheep is like screaming in my ear in the background saying, you've talked way too much about this restricted list and a format that
Probably.
There
Well,
are
like when Arthur put up his poll, it was like 12% voted for Alliance. So 12% of our 5,000 people want to play this.
Well, I guess the question is, how do we make Alliance more balanced, but yet quick and fast? Because I think Alliance is designed, and I know JM said it was designed to bring back old players. Is it? Like, oh, you can build decks now, kind of. Like, I don't know who that brings back. I think the idea was to take decks that people had and make, because me and Sheep were having the talk the other day that literally you buy a box of Keyforge. So if I go buy a box of Magic or I go buy a box of Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, even if I get nothing for what I'm personally looking for, I've probably gotten cards that I'm able to swap out. Trade with people. I can go sell those cards to get the cards I need. There's still a lot of things I can do with the cards in that box. But with Keyforge, when I go buy a box, how many of those decks are going to be competitive? How many of those decks am I going to be able to take to a Vault Tour and do decent in? Maybe make a top 8. And the number we both came to was 0.
A box of 12, yeah. 0.
Like a box of 12. You have a very slim chance out of a box of 12 of being able to be like, oh, I can take. Maybe you can take it to your local.
You can take it to your local. You have a high probability of having one deck you can take to your local. That's fun. And I should say that is competitive.
We always say that, JR, but is that true anymore? Think about who's at your local. It's these 5,000 players remaining from the 50,000 that we had that all have 600 decks.
So
you're
that's
telling me you're going to open a box of 12, go to the local of that, and play with the 3 people that has 500 decks and smoke them or win?
Out of one box.
The problem is that our player pool is dwindling. It's very, very tight.
Yeah, it is. Our player pool is all on this show, for crying out loud, besides John. That's our player pool right now in Wisconsin. Now, I don't know what it is north.
Now, the hope is one day we will have more players. But right now, I actually disagree with that statement entirely. Like, I used to be in that field because we used to have like 8 to 12 every week, and occasionally there are people I didn't know, and there's just variety. I didn't have the decks I had, all that was true back in the day. Like, none of that is true now. Like, if you see a person at Keyforge, most likely they're the grinder, just like the 5 of us, and they're going to have 3 to 100 to 1,000 decks. And if I open a box of 12, I am in pull 1, the best one out of that box, sit down at the table, I'm probably going to get crushed.
Yeah.
Well, but that's a real issue as we try and get back to OP.
That's another topic for another day.
If we're trying to build our player pool and
right, it is a problem. It is something. If you guys look at our little internal, if you look at the sheet of ideas I had for future shows, is Keyforge competitively anemic, and we'll go through that another day. Right now, going through more rules changes. I don't know why you put this on there, JR. Choosing a house must now announce the house.
Yeah.
Didn't we have to do that before?
Well, we had to, but technically you could also, I've seen this at many Vault Tours. I play my first card, and my first card actually announces what I'm playing. Now,
even before you were supposed to announce your house.
You were supposed to.
Practice.
You were supposed to. But here, now you must announce your house.
Yep.
Was that not in the rules before? Or was it just suggested?
I don't know if it had the word must there, but it was there.
I just hear a lot of judge calls in my head already. Judge, you didn't tell me he was playing.
Just played a card. Please eliminate my player so I get a win.
The next one the next one I think is actually a really big impact.
Yes, the next one is huge.
So, and that is, there's no need to memorize deck lists.
You're making it larger. It's creeping me out.
You said it's huge.
It is. It is huge. Like
it is, because in the past we had 2 minutes to look at our deck, our opponent's deck list, and
which you still do. Like, you still get the 2 minutes.
You still get the 2 minutes. But now you can go ahead and ask them for their discard pile at any time. We've always been able to do that. And hey, I just want to see your
Archon card.
Archon
And
card.
it must be visible at all times.
Which does kind of go hand in hand that all matches are 45 minutes. That's something that they announced at KFC, which I think stuck. I didn't look for it in the rule book, but I believe it's stuck. So you do have more time. I am still worried though, because like, I love them, but Hiram Graph is like slow play to the top notch. So like, if you're
Wow,
at
you
a
didn't
vault-
even like you're throwing our
Just buses.
our
just
small
buses.
anemic group of players. You're not even throwing me under the bus anymore. Now we're picking on others. Oh,
like I've
goodness.
seen you play in real life. You don't play that slow in real life. You just play that slow online. So I don't know what you got on your second screen going on.
Oh, wouldn't
but,
you
like-
like to know?
I don't want to know.
It's
I
Ewoks in
do-
bikinis.
I do play on a very, very small laptop, so
Okay. So it's all tabbing there all the time. Got it.
yeah.
But like if I'm at a main event where people are nervous, like even the Draz X-Ray final in Kansas City, like they were going really slow, and like there's reasons for that. Like they don't want to miss triggers, they want to play their lines. Okay, I do all of that. I'm playing as best I can, and I'm slowing down my pace. Now I'm going to add this like, oh, I want to go through their discard because I can do that. Rules say I can. I've thumbed through their entire discard. I'm doing counting for whatever I'm counting for. Then I look at their deck list, and I'm like, oh wait, I put the deck list back. Can I see your discard again? Like that shit is going to happen.
Oh yeah.
Guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
100%.
And you know
Well,
where it's going to
especially-
happen. It's going to happen in top 8s. It's not
Yes,
going
it
to
is.
happen
Oh,
in
it's
low
going to
level
happen.
play.
It's going to
It's gonna
happen
happen
all
everywhere.
day. Round
It's gonna
1,
happen.
2,
Yep.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to happen.
So it's
So,
gonna
like-
it's gonna push games to time, and frankly, we're gonna go ahead and see people frustrated over it
Yeah.
because at this point they have the ability to do it. There isn't really a penalty for it unless it's being consistently done. And at the end of the game, which is when you expect to see it.
Wait. Pause.
Go ahead.
You just said there wouldn't be a penalty for it unless it's consistently done. Is that true?
Well,
Like,
right now,
let's think
that's what
about that.
Well, was
If
there
I'm
a
allowed to
rule-
do these two things per the rules,
That correct. You can't.
why
be penalized
could
for
I
it.
not consistently do it through the whole game?
Well, there is a ruling now for intent. Well, not really. Just, I mean, you can get delivered a warning for intentional slow play.
Okay, I
Ye-
agree with what you're saying, but what I just described per the rules is not intentional slow play.
I
It is
understand.
using what the rule book says I can do every turn.
But Draz and X-Ray, even at that final table in Kansas City, they were talked to in regards to let's keep it going. Let's keep this pace.
Yeah, I agree with that. They were talked to because I was there, but I don't know why.
I agree. I agree with it. I thought that they were playing within their right.
To be
honest, I would have played slower in that. Yes.
I feel like both of them were doing exactly what they should be doing at
Yes.
that moment, the whole game. And was it a little slow? Yes. Was it a slow inside of the rules if you really timed the seconds?
No.
It was fine. You just becomes more aware of how slow it is because you're all staring at them. And that is the only reason that it felt that way. So yeah, I think games will go to time because of this. And we're just gonna have to wait to see how whoever is running the event reacts to that. Because people are going to get upset about this.
And people have
At
a
some
very
point in
different.
time. It's
Well,
gonna
again,
happen.
at first we have to have organized playback. But
Well,
when
correct,
that
but
happens,
people have a very different threshold for this. I mean, you want
Yeah.
to send people on tilt. How the speed of play is already something that throws
I
many
can
people
name-
on tilt.
I can tell you like 8 names of people that are very good at this game right now. If you did what I just said, even half of your turns, you're gonna tilt them, and you might win just because of that. like every other turn, like, oh, can I see your discard pile? Can I see your deck list? Can I see your discard pile again? Okay, I'll play my turn now. Like they will tilt hard, fast, and you're gonna win. But like I'm not gonna do that. I can actually memorize the deck list. Like I'll do that and I'll play my game. But like people are going to start losing their crap. People start doing that.
I think the
regularly.
deck list being open allows for less in straight memorization. I do think it opens up some more shenanigans that can happen, and I do think that people are going to take advantage of it near the end of decks because you now know exactly what can be left in someone's hand. You know the cards that are there.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do agree that it's probably going to be a problem.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some more tournament rules addressed in the future after that happens a couple times. I don't know. Like, I mean, I know why it's added, and I actually agree wholeheartedly why the deck list review thing was added, because, like, I don't think they want memorization inside a 2-minute window of 36 cards to be a barrier of entry to a competitive game. It's not to any others. Like, that's just not a thing.
Well, it's a little different in every other card game because you're talking about in this card game you have 36 cards, right? And it could be any 36.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a majority of cards.
We've already talked about that. Like, you see more of our card pool than any other game,
right?
Because in other games you don't see the Niffle Ape ever,
right? Because nobody's playing that Niffle Ape ever because it's a dud.
Yeah, you're never gonna see that,
right? So when you go to Magic and you're playing, is it Drake's, which is just a deck off the top of my head, you more or less, like you even said in Flesh and Blood, you're like, oh, you're playing that with that setup. I already know what's in your deck.
Yeah, you look at their hero, you look at their equipment. If they have these cards, like they have these cards. If they don't, you already won anyway. So.
Right. So I mean, and a lot of games are like that. Like in Pokemon, if you're playing, Mewtwo, you already know what's in their deck. You already know what their end game is and how either you're going to stop it or you're not. Same thing with Magic. There's, 6 or 7 competitive decks. If they sit down and they come out blue-black right away, you're like, oh, okay, you're playing Dimir such and such. Like you just kind of know. So a little bit different in Keyforge because you're seeing a much more, because there are dead cards in your deck most of the time.
Yeah.
So here's my question. I'm fine with decks being open. This should be, in my opinion, store level. This should be more casual. Like when we get to Vault Tour, is this still something that is needed?
See, that's where, like, I think the answer is ultimately yes. I don't know how to police it. I don't have a suggestion for them, but I know it's going to be a problem. But, like, this isn't a hurdle that other competitive games have to play with. So, like, this is my role now at the school I work at. Like, I literally work with people with disabilities, like students, every day. Like, that is my job. That's my entire job.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if we don't have something like this there that does eliminate, which is a growing, like, percentage of our population, at least in the States, I don't know about anywhere else. So, like, where there is no, like, effective way, some of, like, a significant amount of people are going to ever get good at memorizing. Like, that is just not something that they're going to be able to do. So, like, removing that hurdle does allow more people to play competitively at a higher level. Like, I do really appreciate that part of this change. I have no freaking clue what GG is going to do about what I just described.
Well, and let's talk about the next thing, because the top game, so the number 1 table after everything all is said is done, is going to have no time limit.
Now, I will say a whole bunch of people are up in arms and they're so worried about heart. As someone who has heart,
all right, hold on. Wait. Let's walk this back 1 second. When you say a whole bunch of people, is this like Wookiee with his Discord server?
No,
or is this like a real whole bunch of people?
I would not. I mean, again, our statistical population is very, very small, but I have heard it from multiple individuals. It has been brought up elsewhere as well in our community. So it's been more than just our Discord that people are worried about heart. And my really big question is very, very simple. How many heart decks have made our top table? This is not the concern.
Let me get my 0 hands to count this. 0. The answer is 0. And that's before Reclaim by Nature became a thing. Like, it's like 0 even make 0 since that have made top anything anywhere, even like online, unless it's like a niche week where you're playing some SAS cap crap thing. Like, that's the only time you ever see heart these days, because Reclaim by Nature just auto beats them, and it's a very common card in a very great set. So
there are some very, very good heart decks. But the end result is, in order to make that top table, you have to win playing a standard game where it goes to time, and all of the other matches, if you make it in a vault tour, you have to then on day 2 play your best of 1, playing a standard fair game, going ahead and getting there, which tells me that if you can do that, Heart has to have the win con that's there. That means they can have the key cheats. They have a way to be able to pull that win.
Pump the brakes a little bit.
This is not something that I am worried about.
I don't think we should
I want to say
worry.
it for the community.
Sure, I don't think you should worry about it. I agree. But we haven't had somebody come to a high level event just to troll yet. I don't think this has happened. Like, and maybe it's because it's not big enough. Maybe it's because people don't want to waste their money just trolling. But like, I mean, we haven't had that yet. I mean, you're talking about in other games, such as like Yu-Gi-Oh!, there was a guy who brought a deck that was like 1,076 cards. That might not be a correct number, but it was a massive deck. I think they called it like the Coffin or something like that. And literally, like, the way he was playing his games is he had a bunch of cards, basically every card that he could pack in there that was able to be like shuffle your deck. So literally he would have to shuffle like over 1,000 cards every single time. And to properly shuffle 1,000 cards, you needed like, and he did this just as a troll. I don't think we've seen that yet in Keyforge.
No, we haven't seen any trolls like that.
Not yet. I'm working on it.
Our trolls stay on the forums.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it, but you know.
But I'm telling you, with Keyforge, you don't have all of the tools to bring it in. You have Heart. Like that's what you're talking about for that deck is that it has cards that allow them to be able to shuffle. So you have a very, very small percentage of decks that are going to have Heart and be able to continue to do something goofy like that. Like you have to win out the other games. I don't see it. I don't see it as a concern, and I don't think that we should worry about it at all. Was Heart something that probably shouldn't have been produced? Sure. But it's here. I don't see it as playing any bit in our top 8 for Alliance or Archon. I'm not.
Don't burn them. Send them to Wookiee.
No, burn them.
Send me your Heart decks. All your Heart decks. Because I'm sure there is a double Heart deck now. Yes, a good deck's more than likely going to rotate back, so you're able to get your Reclaimed by Nature's back.
3 hearts.
This is true. You could technically have more if you can find.
There's no double Heart deck. You can have 3 though.
But again, going ahead.
Hold on. There's a triple Heart deck. It's 48 sass.
No, it's an isolated card.
What? It's an isolated.
No, it's not an isolated card. I'm looking at a triple Heart of the Forest deck right now on DOK.
Really?
Abelson, Technospur, Empiricist. It's 48 sass. Now I don't know.
Not aware.
Now I don't know if Heart, and maybe it does, and maybe it doesn't.
Oh wow, that is the stupidest thing.
I don't know if you're able to then, like, can Heart, can it become a Maverick?
Yes,
it can become a Maverick. I mean, I guess they do say any card can become a Maverick.
But looking at this deck has no.
Sure.
It has no win con, and frankly,
but if I'm going in Alliance, I could technically have 4 Hearts.
It doesn't matter though, Wookiee. And this is the thing. I was looking at bringing my good Heart deck to ABR first week. I couldn't do it because ABR is fun, and it wasn't fun from what was there. So I'd played it in previous years. I brought a different deck because I wanted to be a good sport, and that's what it should be right now. With Heart, though, we have tools. Not only do you have Reclaimed by Nature and other artifact destruction, but we also have ways with Exalted Amber to be able to send Amber to force the person to be able to go above their key limit.
But you're thinking as a rational player.
But I'm saying like that. But there are more.
I understand. I totally understand what you're saying. But you are thinking about as a rational player. Think about all the things I can do right now, right? If I have 4 Hearts, let's say I buy this triple Heart deck, and then I find 2 Hearts. I find 2 other decent pods that also have Heart of the Forest in them, maybe ones in Shadows that also includes like a Key of Darkness or something like that. Something crazy. Technically, I can have five hearts in my deck.
And it does nothing when I give you Amber.
You're thinking about this all wrong. You are not. There is no troll in you whatsoever, right? Now I can not only extend the game, because remember, this game only lasts for 45 minutes. So every turn, I'm allowed to look at your discard pile, then look at your deck list, then look at your discard pile, and then maybe look at your deck list one more time, and then take my turn, drawing every single game I play to a draw, where it comes down to what Ember is in the pool. I can do this. You were thinking about this just playing straight up, and my thing just crashed. Hold on one second, guys. I guess my Discord just crashed, honey. Checking for updates. Here we go. I'm still recording here. But my Discord just crashed.
Okay.
I'm back. I'm back.
All right.
Can you hear me?
But like what you just described, though, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
What
but
you
it's
just
my
described actually is the definition of cheating in slow play. Which
is it?
And I'm going to call over the judge.
But like you said,
me,
I'm only operating in the rules to which I am allowed.
But again, in this manner,
but that's the thing. The judge.
Oh, I am literally coming in and out. All right, we're gonna go into the Discord app on thing, because I am in and out for whatever reason. Discord does not want to play nice with me today. Sorry, guys. There we go. It's coming back up now.
JR is a great player, very possible. He starts to get nervous about it, so he slows himself down, and then he just starts to do that. Like by turn 4, lots of cards have been played. He looks at the discard pile, he looks at the deck list, he plays his turn. He is progressing towards a win con, actively trying to win the game. Time runs out. He does that every time for the rest of the time, like all rounds 5 through time running out. He, in that scenario, would not be considered slow playing. He was progressing towards the win con. Yet his opponent could have been pissed off the entire time, beyond reason.
Sorry, yeah, Discord kept killing on me, and I'm not sure why. But again, like what I'm saying is, I am progressing to my end game, but I am making sure that I am taking in all the information that is allotted.
But you're not, like you said in your statement, you're doing that to go to a draw.
But I don't say that. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh.
But that's the judge has to make that determination.
Right,
like
that would be a judge determination.
Those 4 rules before, and in that case, that person is actually cheating.
But
again, that's not what I was talking about. We have not seen anybody actually do that.
But nobody says my end game has to be the same as your end game.
The judge does.
The judge does.
The end game cannot be to go to a draw. That is not the goal.
I'm not looking to go to a draw, but I'm looking to take this to a 12-round fight. It doesn't say I can't do that.
You are enjoying every moment of
I am enjoying every moment of Keyforge and my opponent's company that I am able to.
I think that you can get away with it for a game. I don't think that you're going to be able to.
I think I could get away with it for an event.
I don't think
then they would probably change the rules.
No, I think that you'll have a judge.
I think you would be considered to be like in the current judge staff. You would be considered to be slow playing game 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Even if you make it through game 1, then again you're going to be sitting down. The judges they will be watching.
We hired for live would have marked you as slow playing and given you a loss based on what you just described.
Okay.
Yes. But we talked about it with them.
But let's just say my deck. This is what my deck does. Like I have 5.
It does nothing. It plays
5 hearts. You didn't tell me I couldn't build a deck that can't have 5 hearts.
Again, you can have 5 hearts, but you're missing the whole component. I can go ahead and get you. I can give you keys if I am playing with.
How are you going to give me keys?
Because I'm going to give you Amber. You have to.
But I have heart turn. I come out heart before there's 5 of them. I'm going to find one before I forge my first key.
It does not matter. I will go ahead and with my dinos, I can
You're
go
talking
ahead.
about very specific
Yeah,
versus case.
but there are ways to be able to give Amber
yes,
to
but
your
there
opponent.
are also a good chunk of decks that cannot do that.
There
And most
are.
of them are not.
I cannot argue
Like
with that, but
Like JR, like most decks cannot do that.
but you have Dinos and you have Saurian and you have MM. Frankly, with all the capture pips, there's a lot running
Capture
around.
does not make them Amber, JR. The
No.
decks that he's referring to, he just discards everything until he plays a heart. He doesn't generate Amber.
Yeah, he's not going. Again, yes, it's going to be a pain.
JR, there's no way around this. It's going to be a painful game, right? And every game I play against every opponent I play is going to be painful. There's no way around it, right? It's just
to be clear,
not.
to our audience, he's not actually talking about doing this, but like
Right.
this is the
I mean,
stance.
not yet. I'm gonna start work on it after this show. But
And this is how Wookiee makes it to Alliance.
right. But I'm saying that it's possible, right? Like there are ways to break these rules, and we haven't had somebody who's come into it trying to be a
Not
troll
until
yet.
they listen to you.
Not until they hear this show, and then there will immediately be a Heart of the Forest.
Like, you know what? I hate Alliance so much.
Right.
Wookiee gave me the best idea.
Yeah, so
Here's Sheep sitting down with his heart.
I created the format. I'm now gonna break it. So,
But again, we can go ahead and barehand it. You can go ahead. What's the dis artifact? Eaton's
But
Jar,
there's
where you
5
can't play
of
it.
them.
Eaton's Jar. So there you go. Eaton's Jar. Done. Can't play it. Like
He
there
plays
are
it turn 1 a good chunk of the time, JR, at 5.
at 5, yeah, there's a good chunk I find
he has
at
a
turn 1.
very, very high probability. But again, do you think that you're only going to have Eaton's Jar in your deck? And you have no, like, these are, again, niche scenario. I
Look,
don't
JM's
see it
already
happening.
building it for me. I don't even need it. JM's already got it half built.
I just don't see it as the deck. That's not our community. That's not what I'm worried about.
No,
show up,
I do-
bring it, and
I do not
I'm gonna
think
laugh.
we have.
I'm gonna laugh at you when you go ahead and have a 5-heart deck, and you're
It's
gonna lose.
Not gonna
to someone
happen.
else playing.
No one's going to do this. It
I'm
doesn't
just
matter.
going to have my fun. Don't say no one. I'm a little crazy. All
It's
right,
not gonna happen.
let's move
Never
on from
gonna
this.
see it.
House Geistoid. Didn't we talk about this already?
I don't know what this means.
No, okay. So in the 2-player Learn to Play, on page 21, they go into House Geistoid. We know that that's the new house that's coming out for Grim Reminders, but it gave a little bit of a blurb, so I can go ahead and read it for our amazing audience. And it says, the scourge of the Geistoids has spread throughout the Crucible, seeking to remake the world in their own image. Each Geistoid minion is a fusion of discarded refuse, so we see discard, animated by psychic energy of Amber and driven to wreak vengeance on the neglectful universe. Every scap of detritus cast aside by the living is a potential new minion to swell their ranks. We got some nice photos. And then it says, exactly how the Geistoids came into being is much debated, especially within the Society of Logic and Reason, a group that has a special disdain for these ghostly constructs. Some claim demonic origins, leading to speculation about ties to Dis, while others insist it was an ill-conceived experiment gone rampant. So, I don't know. I like to see the lore that's built in. I think that it's fun. So, there you go. A little bit of reading for us today. House Geistoids. Timing chart was our other one that was showing up. There wasn't much that was here, but you have a new components put in step 3, which is your play, discard, or use cards. And for play, there are now 4 sections for playing card. 1, if your card is a creature, artifact, or upgrade, add it to your play area, resolving any enters play effects. If your card is an action, reveal it. 2, resolve each bonus icon on the played card, top to bottom. And here's the new one. 3, resolve play effects, after play effects, and after enters play effects. 4, if your card is an action, place it in your discard pile. So they did put in play effects, so we know where it is now.
Yeah.
All right. We did get a new timing chart. I think we go through this on another day. What do you guys say?
I mean, there's not much new there, but yeah.
Not much new, but we can go through. I mean, nothing crazy, but
I
We
just
can cover it after the OP news next week.
that's right. We can go because that's when it'll be most important.
Was there more than what I just went through there?
For the timing chart?
Yeah. No.
Probably not.
Well, I mean, that was more looking at cards. You're no longer able to, when creating a token, look at it and then place it. You got to place it and then you're able to look at it.
That's not the timing chart. I read the timing chart for woe cards. Yes, they put in the rule that basically the order of how to do it is that you will draw your face down card for woe and you pick your flank, and you don't get a chance to see it until after
It's
it is
in place.
placed. Yeah.
Oh.
Minor impact, but it is
Interesting.
there.
It
Yeah,
does do something, yeah.
it does.
All right, we'll go through flowchart on another week. We got some ideas for what's coming up, depending on what's going on. I guess we'll patiently wait for that OP news, which will probably come out tomorrow, because that's how things go. And we'll talk to y'all next week. You guys have anything to get through before we get out of here and I start building my 5-heart deck?
Burn the heart. That's my final words.
Final thoughts. Jerry Springer did pass today.
Moment of silence.
Moment of silence for Jerry Springer. All right, well, if nobody's got anything else, we'll see y'all next week.
May the forge be with you.
Windows race you underground. This is not the end. This is just beginning. Like a torch,